Hey, what's up guys? Red Bishop here of the Press A to Listen podcast, and we have another video review for you. I understand that we have the fall season of games happening, so expect a crap ton of reviews from me over the next 2 to 3 months. But we're going to start out today with a game called Guns, Gore, and Cannoli. For those unfamiliar with the game, and you'll notice it in the actual video portion, it is a side-scrolling shooter. I know we've, on the Xbox One, some of these new-gen consoles, we've had a lot of side-scrolling games, but specifically side-scrolling platformers. This has a little bit of platforming to it, where you have to do a jump to a certain jump, to move across the screen. But it is not at all a platforming game. It is mainly a shooter. So for people who want to know more about the game, you'll see some in the video, but the controls themselves are pretty simple. You move with the left stick, obviously. You fire with the right trigger. There's no actual aiming with the right stick, so it's not like some new side-scrolling shooters where you have to kind of aim the reticle or aim your character's gun around. It just goes, either he fires left or he fires right. There's no fire diagonally or anything like that. And that goes with the game because the enemies themselves don't usually come across at you diagonally or anything like that, or jump down from above or anything. They actually come at you left or right. Some of them run, some of them walk, some of them will throw projectiles at you. Some of them will throw Molotovs or grenades. Some of them will shoot rocket launchers. So that comes in play with the jump button, which is obviously on your A button. You use that to jump over some of those obstacles to kind of get out of the way. And there's also a kick button. So if some of the zombies, you'll see some zombies here. So yeah, some of the enemies are zombies. Some of them are actually some mob members, some mafia members type things. You have the kick button, which is B button. And when you use that, it kind of gets them off of you. So if you need to reload your weapon, or you need to switch weapons, or you need to just back off and try to catch your breath for a second, you can use that. It won't kill the enemies, but it'll give you a little bit of breathing room. Now, Guns, Gore, and Cannoli is also one of those games where when you first start out playing it, you think, oh, this is going to be a relatively easy game to get through, and it's not going to be that difficult. But it actually, towards the end of the game, gets relatively hard to play, because it's one of those games where they start you out with one weapon, which is a pistol. They have a few enemies coming at you at a time, but then as you progress through each mission, through each chapter, which there are 12 chapters in total, the game gets progressively more difficult, but then they also give you more weapons. So you'll start out with a pistol, then you'll get a double-barrel shotgun, then you'll get like a Tommy gun, then by the end of the game you have a flamethrower and a rocket launcher. So it gets difficult with more enemies, different kinds of enemies, them doing different things to you, like them shooting weapons at you, or them shooting flamethrowers or throwing grenades at you, but then they counteract that by giving you the exact same amount of ammunition. So it's difficult towards the end, especially the last 2 or 3 missions, because there are so many enemies coming at you at once. That kick button I mentioned earlier comes into play a little bit, because there'll be 6 or 7 enemies at you, and you can kick all of those enemies at one time. So you'll need that to kind of get through each level, to kind of, because you get towards the end, you may need to go at a more methodical pace. You may not want to just blaze through it. And there may be some areas of the game, and I did it during my playthrough of it, where instead of actually fighting the enemies, maybe you just jump over them and kind of try to get through the level as fast as you can. There are some areas where it may take you 4, 5, 6 tries to get through, because of like I said, of how many enemies are coming at you at once. So it's not necessarily an easy game. It's not the most difficult game ever, but it kind of is in that more medium tier range of, hey, this game seems easy at first, but man, as I get through it and got towards the end, it got difficult real fast. There is a story in the actual game, but it's mainly a parody of the kind of the mafia and mob movies. So like you'll see, The Godfather and movies like that, kind of hinted at and made fun of in the game itself, with some of the enemies and some of the boss fights and stuff like that. And the boss fights themselves are not too elaborate. They're very simple and kind of easy to figure out what you need to do. It's mainly just like the other enemies in the game, just kind of shoot them with weapons and throw grenades at them, and you can beat them. The only exception to that rule is the final boss battle, which I won't spoil here, but it has a little bit of some strategy to it, a little bit of a technique that you have to take into account. But overall, the game itself is fun to play. It takes you about 6 to 8 hours, depending on your difficulty that you select, and depending on how you want to go about fighting some of the enemies in the game. It'll take you that long to complete, 6 to 8 hours, but I enjoyed my time with it. It has 12 total chapters. For $10, I feel like it's a game that most people who enjoy side-scrolling games and who enjoy shooters in general will actually pick up and find entertaining. I know I did, so I would recommend people check it out. I think it's got a good price. I think it's got a good length. I think it's got a good variety of weapons and good variety of enemy designs and stuff like that, that I think people should try it and pick it up. So that's my review of Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, which is out now on Xbox One. I think it's been available for a little while on PC. And yeah, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and have a good one.
They've been hitting the mattresses as long as I can remember.
And I'll go there and have a friendly chat with them.
Where are they hiding?